I think what we need to do now is take some of the questions that the employers and the HR managers are letting us know they have interest in. One of the questions is about our virtual platform. What does it mean? That's what they're asking.
Well, basically, a virtual platform is just taking everything that you would traditionally do on paper. So your open enrollment, all of your administration forms, all the forms necessary to onboard your new hires or to process your terminations, and putting it on an online platform for administration. What that does is it gives your human resource manager the opportunity to have all of the information that they need compliantly in one location at their fingertips. And it also allows your employees to access all of their information that they need to administer their own personal benefits online. With COVID, I think it's even more important because with a lot of employees working remotely now, when they have questions about their benefits, they don't really have the time to sit on hold trying to get a hold of a carrier or their HR manager. They want to be able to get online and get their answers, the questions answered right away. So
do you think that would be considered pandemic friendly?
Very pandemic friendly, because, you know, even though people are transitioning back into the workforce, in their offices, a lot of companies have discovered that the remote workplace is working for them. So they're keeping those employees remote. So those employees don't have the same interaction with their HR managers in their office like they did traditionally. And they need to be able to access that information for themselves and for their family.
Let me find another question. It's a really good one too that people are asking all the time. How do I offer benefits that my employees deserve with the rising cost of insurance?
Well, I think a lot of times people or brokers look at benefits traditionally. What we do is a little bit more dynamic. We go in and we look at what type of industry and company it is. We look at what the benefit structures look like with their competitors to determine whether or not their benefit platform is going to kind of equate with who they're competing with to retain those key employees. And we structure their benefits to maximize the benefit for the actual employee. That retains them to your business and allows them a sense of security that they're with the right company. It also lets the employee know that my employer cares about me and my family and our well-being. And you will get very, very loyal employees that way. But at the same time, as an employer, it is a rising cost in their business. So you have to be very cautious that you're setting up a platform that is rich enough to retain those key employees, but on the expense side, it's minimizing any overexposure to expenditures that might not allow an employer to retain those benefits, because an employer has to be able to actually afford the benefits.
Right.
So there's different strategies that can be put in place with gap policies and higher deductibles. And it's all about your broker being engaged in knowing your business and knowing what your personal needs are for your business.
Hey, Cal, here's a question that comes in all the time from clients and from some of the companies that are interested in looking into benefits. How do you communicate the value of the benefits you provide to your employees?
That's very huge. And let me explain why. When an employer is looking at their benefits, they're looking at the financial part of it. And sometimes it is a lot financially to take on for companies. So you want to make sure that if you're going to be providing the benefits and you're going to be paying a large portion of it, that your employees understand the value of that benefit. And I think it all really kind of narrows down to education. Standardly, a broker comes in and they do one enrollment meeting. Even if they are at an enrollment meeting, they may not be. And they're going over the actual benefits with the employees, but they don't communicate how to use their benefits. So, you know, how do you get the preventative services, and how do you make the appointments, and how do you ensure that you don't have more out of pocket than what you're supposed to? How do you look up doctors? All of these questions from an employee. An engaged employee values their benefit. And what I mean by engaged is your employees not only know what their options are, they know how to use their coverage to benefit themselves and their family. And they're using it and they're understanding it at a level to where they're utilizing it. And why is that important? It's important because no one sees value in something that they don't use or understand. Okay? And really the pricing of your benefits is only an issue if there is an absence of value. So if your employee can see the value of their benefits, not only does it help your retention, but it also educates your employee to understand that it is a vital part of their overall compensation. So that is the key, is education. And you do that through your broker. Your broker educates, is available for questions, does individual Zoom meetings with your employee and their spouses maybe. It's being engaged with the employee and making them understand. The second part to that is giving them access to actually get the information that they need. So do they have direct access to their ID cards or their benefit summaries and all those things that help them find information about their benefits? And the third item is compensation reports. So our virtual platform allows an employer to input all of the benefits associated that they provide their employees. And at the end of the year, when they're doing their annual reviews, the report breaks out what their annual salary is, what their contribution that they're receiving from the employer for all their benefits. So their health, their dental, their vision, their 401k. When you review this report with an employee, it allows the employer to communicate that their employee benefits is a certain percentage of their total annual compensation.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the T. Spencer Samuel's virtual platform and how companies will be using it to their advantage for HR and personnel files?
That's probably one of my favorite things about our portal. There's a lot of functions within HR that employees don't even realize, or employers don't realize, that are tasks of the HR department. One is going to be onboarding. So when you have a new hire employee, how do you onboard them? How do you get all the paperwork done and processed? And how do you keep a compliant file where your HR manager has access to all of the information they need? The portal has an HR function where it has onboarding. So it's customized and branded to the company's name, and it has all the required documents that a human resource manager would need to onboard a new employee. This includes maybe the W-4, the I-9s, the payroll information, your emergency contacts. It's as detailed or simple as the human resource department chooses it to be, and everything is branded to the company specifically. Then it will automatically convert that employee, when eligible, to enroll in their benefits. So now you've cut out two major tasks for the HR manager. They're not fumbling through pages and pages or files, paper files to manage their personnel. Everything is online. You don't have as many mistakes when transcribing social security numbers. The information is accurate because the employee is inputting all that information electronically. Also, any information that's changed for the employee, address, phone numbers, their W-4 filings for taxes, all of that can be updated by the employee, and the employers receive a notification when those items have been changed. But it's just a click of a button away, versus an employee having to set a time aside with the HR manager.
Question, big one. How important is a second opinion for my benefit plan?
I think the second opinion is probably one of the best questions you can ask, because everyone gets second opinions for most things in their life. So if you needed a specialist for a doctor, you would go to two different doctors within the same specialty. The same is for your employee benefits package. And the reason is that, let's just be honest, every broker is getting relatively the same rates from the insurance carriers. What's really differentiating your brokers from each other are service. What kind of services can they provide, not just you as an employer, but also to your employees? And what type of platform are they offering? So if you are still processing your enrollments through paper applications, every year you're diligently collecting hundreds of pieces of paper from your employees, then it's a huge disadvantage to you, to your employees, and to your company. It's a waste of resources when it comes to time. Your employees get very frustrated having to redo the same forms every single year. You're spending a lot more time doing paperwork than you are actually looking at activities that produce revenue for your company. And your employees really aren't understanding the value of their benefits. They're just processing the paperwork that they have to do every year. So you want to make sure that when you're shopping your brokers, not only are you focusing on what kind of strategies are they presenting to your company, are they giving you a strategy that's going to work on the financial side of the company and a benefit to your employees, or are they only focused on pricing? What I see is a lot of brokers come in our industry and they look at carriers and they look at plans and they're very focused on the pricing and they're not focused on the strategy. There's a lot of ways when you're looking at benefits that you can actually increase the benefits to your employees and minimize the price increases by separating your policies with different carriers, by introducing gap plans to cover deductibles so you can have higher deductibles on your health plan and save money. So really, like many things in many industries, it's all on strategy. How do you arrange your benefits to maximize benefit and reduce costs? And a lot of brokers come in and they either auto-renew your group, which means they just keep renewing it with the same carrier, or they're not really looking specifically to your business to determine what kind of benefits that you need specific to your industry and how to increase value without increasing pricing. So those are the types of things that you want to look at when you're shopping brokers. And it's very, very important to make sure that the technology platform's there, the strategies are there, and the pricing is there. It has to be a combination of all three. So employee handbooks are very, very important. Employee handbooks is your employee's guide to all the specifications, not only from the Department of Labor that you have to communicate, but also paid sick leave time, what paid holidays are off. With the COVID situation, we have found that a lot of employers, their questions, we're referring them back to their handbook. So if they have a question of what the guidelines are for sick leave, we say, okay, well, what is part of your employee handbook? It is kind of the Bible of the guidelines for your employees. So we can actually produce an employee handbook with you, customized to your company, or we can review your current one, upload it to the system. It's always available for your employees to reference back to. The final item is how do we keep up with direct deposit information, which is managed on the portal as well. And for those employers who have over 50 employees, the portal is set up to do all the ACA filing with the government every year. So those 1095Cs and the 1095-4s and all that paperwork, those are questions that come up many, many times. And many times the employer is having to pay a third party to process all of these tax forms. And these are requirements. There's huge liabilities for not processing these correctly. This is all items that a human resources manager will have access to on the portal. And again, it is complimentary. So typical items that they would be paying a payroll company or a third party for, we're providing to them as a service through our company.
Hey, Cal, there's another question that comes in often. Employers are asking, how do they meet the needs of their employees through their benefits? Is there a way to do that?
There is. Actually, that's a very good question because there is nothing more disheartening than an employer spending business dollars on benefits and then finding that they don't meet the needs for their employees. What we do at T. Spencer Samuels, if that is an issue or we think it's an issue or they've had complaints from employees, we will actually, we've developed a questionnaire for employees. And it's only about 10 or 15 questions, but it's directly associated with their benefits. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? It goes through things like, what is a good price point for you and your family? What items do you need co-pays for? How important is prescription coverage? Would you like to pay more in premium for lower deductibles? These are all important questions because if employers are going to invest the dollars from their business into the benefits, they need to make sure the benefits are an advantage to the employees and it's not wasted dollars. The questionnaires are then collected and then we can basically arrange the benefits around the pricing that the employees are looking for and the key components that they're looking for in benefits. So if 90% of your employees are not concerned about deductible, but they need co-pays for primary, specialist, and urgent care, those are items that we can focus on and we're not wasting our premium dollars on low deductibles. So very, very important. And that also ties into making sure you have the right strategy in place. Benefits need to have value and they have value if they are meeting the needs of your employees.
Perfect. Thank you.